Wow.
Drops the hair.
Oh my God. All I ever seen is him doing this kind of stuff. What the hell is he going to be doing to me? But it really works. Wow. I'm used to deep work. This is uniquely different. This is Beau Hightower work.
What's going on out there, YouTube land? Today I am with the legendary DDP Diamond Dallas Page, one of the legends in the ring. He's been around the game a long time, since the late 80s. He even just had a match last year. He's also the founder of DDP Yoga. He's really morphed his business model into health and wellness, taking care of so many people, literally saving lives. He's had a couple of your favorite wrestlers in here and taken care of them, brought them back from the brink. Jake the Snake, Scott Hall, you know, and he's been friends with that dude for 30 years, so it was probably a personal thing for that as well. We're here, we're gonna work on some stuff with him, do some soft tissue work. He took me through a DDP yoga class. It is not your mama's yoga. Kicked my butt, had me sweating. But you know, Paige over here is 65 and he's like 5 times more flexible and strong in all these positions. So thanks for having me over, man. We actually linked up through a mutual friend, Bio Accelerator. Shout out to Bio Accelerator for taking care of us down in Medellin.
Man, it was really a great experience. People down there were super nice. And I left there wanting to learn Spanish, Espanol. They were really great down there. They did my neck, they did my back, they did both shoulders, both knees. I even had them do my face and my hair. I take it wherever I get it.
Yeah, so shout out to Bio Accelerator. I also had it done. So for you guys that didn't know, I've got grade 4 cartilage damage in the right knee, meniscus tear, stage 3 arthritis in the left hip. I basically need a hip replacement. 4 compression fractures in the spine, grade 3 arthritis in the spine, 3 of the 4 rotator cuff muscles torn in the left shoulder, full rupture, bicep tendon tear, slap tear in the labrum, scapholunate dissociation, arthritis out on the outside, triangle cartilage tear. I think that's all we had MRI'd. So one of the only guys that can keep up with me as far as structural damage is this guy right here. But he's earned his. But
I'm also 65 too.
He's taking a few bumps. So we're gonna do some range of motion stuff. We're gonna work on his neck a little bit, his shoulder, see if we get a little more activation. And he doesn't need a ton. You know, I know the structure doesn't look great, but I'm super impressed with the way he's moving. So we're just gonna try to lighten it up a little bit. We're gonna do some interview stuff, obviously, get some soft tissue moving better. And by the end of it, he's gonna show you around this cave because there's some really cool stuff in here too. Do you have 3 congenital abnormalities in your spine? I think I can get some better activation in it by working some muscles you haven't had worked on before to deactivate them. Cervical spine, we'll work some of the soft tissue near the base of the skull to see what we can get out of it. Structurally, there's not a lot we can do, obviously. Has somebody adjusted your neck manually?
Years ago, but I hasn't done anything with it like that in the last 2 years.
So, you know, if they would have had x-rays or imaging before, you were pretty much never a candidate to have your neck adjusted like that because you were born with congenital blocks. The facet joints can't move. So if you're forcing the motion there, you're forcing, like with the short lever, bone over bone, and bone spurs can break off. And so obviously now you're hesitant enough to be like, don't do that.
Right.
So, you know, and generally speaking, that kind of manipulation is for people under 50, generally speaking. So the discs are still full of fluid, so there's movement there. And the prime spot is 15 to 35 for spinal manipulation. After that, there's way more soft tissue, scarring, fibrosis, ligament thickening, as opposed to joint fixation. Joint fixation is something that right after you finish puberty, till about 35, 40, when your discs start to lose their fluidity, that's the main cause of dysfunction. Once you've had short or tight muscles or damage or scarring that happens later on, that's a result of soft tissue, which is why deep tissue work, DDP yoga, stuff like that is going to be so beneficial, even more beneficial for people over 35 than it is for younger people. Go ahead and turn your head to the left as far as you can, and then let's go to the right as far as you can. So a little bit of lack of range of motion there, and he's landed on his head a few times in his life, yeah?
That's actually really good for me.
So he didn't even have that before the stem cells. So
yeah.
we were talking earlier, and he doesn't remember checking his range of motion when he was younger, but he does have a little congenital block there, so that may have contributed to some of that. So he may have never had great range of motion. For all we know, it's just something he may have noticed when he started, working on his wellness and fitness stuff and checking the range of motion. It's highly likely that when he was 18, 15, he didn't have the range of motion either, but he wasn't looking for it to see. Hadn't hurt his neck yet, so he didn't associate pain with loss of range of motion yet.
Right.
So those things aren't always related. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Paige is a great example of somebody, when you look at their MRI, if you identify your MRI with who you are, sometimes what happens is people really bring that onto their self-identity and they go into a shell. They stop moving and they assume, they take that image of that injury on as who they are, and they create a limitation out of it. And one of the things I noticed about you is that's not what you do at all.
No.
And both you and Paige, you guys both have bad images, but you're moving around like somebody who doesn't have any single problems at all.
You don't use it, you lose it.
That's 100% true. It's like a scar on your face. So if I took it, an ultrasound, we saw a scar, we wouldn't say, oh my gosh, that scar, the skin doesn't work anymore. It may be a little less flexible in that one spot, but that doesn't stop the skin from being skin. It still does its function. So when we look at a tear or a herniation, most of the time, for most people with chronic injuries, it's not debilitating. They can create that range again. In the acute phase, obviously, it is. Actually, all three of us are living testaments. I still lift weights and play basketball and stuff like that. I need better range in my hips and back, but I work a manual labor job with all these tears and damage, and it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't get in the way of my exercise life, and I'm actually, for 37, healthier than most people my age. Most people don't do any exercise, and so it's really important. If you don't go to the gym, if you don't have time for that, stuff like DDP Yoga is a great way to get your heart rate up, burn calories, create range of motion.
Did you think you were going to get your heart rate that high?
No, I didn't. I kind of knew I was going to get my butt kicked, so I was bracing a little bit, but it was harder than I thought it was going to be.
It's only because you made it harder and you didn't take modifications where I'll say step in, and you were manning up. And I always say DDPY, it makes it your own wherever you're at. You can make it your own, but when you man up because you're an athlete and you're going to go, well, then it's going to kick your ass.
I can't get punked by all these guys, right? I got to try to hang in there. I tried. It was okay. So let's talk a little bit about your history, man.
I tried wrestling when I was 23.
Okay.
But it didn't work out for me. I had 3 matches. I sucked. Yeah.
Did you grow up watching wrestling? Is that?
Oh, loved it. Loved it as a kid. And I'd gotten thrown over the top rope and I came down wrong. And I completely tweaked my knee really bad. So I got to take off a couple of weeks. And then I got shot to run a little rock and roll joint. And this feels good. Next thing I know, I was having too much fun with the booze, the broads, and the party. And my idea of wrestling went stage left. And that was 1979. And then wrestling blew up in the 80s, huge. And I was like, oh, man, I should have paid my dues. And, bottom line is I just like, okay, I'm out. I didn't do anything about it. I'm not going to watch wrestling now. Then one day I was flicking the channels and I saw this guy, Jake the Snake Roberts. I was like, who's that cat? And he sucked me back in. By this time, I'm running a huge club in Fort Myers, Florida, and he rolls in the club. Yeah, crazy. We end up becoming drinking buddies.
Drinking like kombucha and smoothies, right?
Yeah, right. Like shots and a whiskey and tequila.
Oh, okay.
And I got a picture of Ted DiBiase over there doing upside down tequila shooters. I became friends with these guys before I ever got into wrestling. So I tried in '88 to come in as a manager, made up some guys who wanted to be wrestlers and sent it to the AWA, and they called me. And that's how I got in. They called me and they were like, hey, we like your shtick. We've seen your tape, but no one's ever heard of you. Where are you guys wrestling at? And I was like, well, those guys can't wrestle. He was like, what? Why would you even send us a tape? I go, well, it's like a secret society. No one can figure out how to get in. They were like, don't call us, we'll call you. Yeah. And what ended up happening is Paul Heyman was Paulie Dangerously, and he had left the AWA, went to the NWA, left for a huge spot for a young guy that could talk. And Greg Gagne called me up 2 weeks later and said, bring all those crazy clothes and a couple of those hot girls, and we're going to give you an opportunity, give you a try. And that's how I got in.
So did you already have your hair like that back then, or was that for wrestling?
Crazy long hair.
You were just walking around and had your hair like that?
Yeah, I look like a wrestler. Like, I was supposed to be there. And I see a guy walk in. He's like 6'7" or whatever. And he's got long hair. He's got a Fu Manchu. I'm like, damn, that looks like Jake the Snake Roberts. And I walk in the front door and I go, Judy, did some guy walk in look like Jake the Snake? She goes, yeah. Everybody thinks it's him. So I ran in there. I love what you're doing, by the way. Whatever the hell pressure point you're doing is awesome.
Awesome.
It's great. I gotta put that over. Then I slowly kind of made my way over to him. I said, hey man, you Jake the Snake Roberts? Who wants to know? I said, the guy who runs this place. Yes. What can I do for you? I said, what are we drinking? And that's how we started. When you really think that Jake and I will probably be best known for together, me helping him get off the booze, the pills, the coke, and the crack.
Right.
If you haven't seen The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, go on to Amazon Prime, and you'll see that and our brand new documentary called Relentless. And that's everything from me blowing my back out at 99 right to where we are today. If you're an entrepreneur or dream to do something that you really want to do more than anything, you need to watch it because it'll inspire you, but it'll also let you know it takes a lot of work. You know?
So where did the Diamond moniker come from? Because obviously that was something that was part of your gimmick very early on. You had Diamond Exchange. And
in that same club. One night I'm in the club and my buddy who's the DJ is playing Girls Just Want to Have Fun. The club's closed, but he's just got the video playing. And I'm watching Captain Lou Albano and Nikolai Volkov's up there, and I'm watching it and I'm just thinking to myself out loud, I go, rock and wrestling. I should have been a part of that. And I walk away. My buddy Smokey, who's the head bartender, comes in and like, Paige J, what do you mean rock and wrestling? You should have been a part of that. And I said, I didn't realize you heard that. I said, yeah, I tried it when I was a kid, when I was like 23. He goes, really? What was your name? And I said, Handsome Dallas Page. And he went, oh, you can forget about using that anymore. And everybody laughed, and everybody's coming in there counting drawers, and now we're drinking. It's after hours. It just got in my head. And I got like that blotter pad in front of me, where it says the days of the month. Mm-hmm. So I'm just scribbling on it while we're drinking and doing shots. I write Diamond Dallas Page. I said, okay, you know what? I got an idea. I said, I'm going to do this. Again, I'm just talking smack.
Sure.
I'm like, Jimmy Hart, he had the Hart Foundation.
Right.
I could be Diamond Dallas Page. And I could have the Diamond Exchange. Woo, shot, drink. And back then, I was Diamond Dallas Page in that club. We were the kings from Sarasota to Cuba. After a few more drinks and shots, I said, Diamond Dallas Page, the Diamond Exchange. I said, there's a couple of girls in wrestling, but none of them are really that hot. I go, Miss Elizabeth, she's gorgeous, but she's girl next door gorgeous. I said, what if I had a whole stable of the ladies and I called them Diamond Dolls and they were stripper hot? And Smokey goes, oh, that'll be a stretch. Woo, shot, drink. Now it's like 4 a.m. And I say, man, Diamond Dallas Page, my wrestlers from the Diamond Exchange. I've got the Diamond Dolls. I said, man, that is B-A-double-D bad. And I stop, I go, did I just make that up? Like, I'm shit-faced at this point. And I write it.
You're like, was that awesome? I think that was awesome.
Did I steal that? Actually,
did I hear that from somebody else?
Did I steal that from somebody, This is 1987. What ends up happening is I did all my own radio commercials. Occasionally, I might throw in, ooh, yeah, Wednesday, don't miss it. Hot legs, ooh, yeah. I might throw in Mach, I might throw in Hulk, I might throw in Jesse Ventura. Again, whatever you're doing, dude, this deep muscle work you're doing is crazy good. Wow. I wish the you lived here. It's called the Party News Network back then, a little cable show. Well, they wanted to know who was the man behind, as they called it, the voice. Because I might steal different voices from different wrestlers, but I might throw in Thursday, and the reverb, and like those raceway car ads that they do. It was like a ripoff of that meets impressions. They interview me in my 62 pink Cadillac. They interview me at the studio where I'm doing it.
So you had the Cadillac before.
I have it all then.
So that was just part of your real life gimmick.
Real life. I was a walking character at that time.
Pink Cadillac.
Yeah, had the fuchsia Harley, the pink Cadillac. I didn't have any money in the bank, by the way. I spent the shit as fast as I made it. They filmed us in the studio. I'm wearing a WrestleMania t-shirt. They said, so where does the voice come from? And I'm sitting at that office, and that right in front of that blotter pad where it says everything. There's a pair of white sunglasses there, Beau. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if I do it if the white sunglasses aren't there to be a mask, but they were. And I threw them on, and I said, the voice comes from Diamond Dallas Page, Daddy. I was born to be a professional wrestling manager. It's big, it's bad, it's Norma Jean's voice. And, I just started talking normal and kept talking about other stuff. And a buddy who had become a good friend of mine ended up seeing it. And his name was Smitty, and he had a sports talk show that was mainly dealt with boxing. Calls me up the day after it airs at the club. Judy at the front desk says, Paige, there's someone here for a Diamond Dallas Page? I pick up the phone and go, F you, Smokey. And I hung up the phone. She calls me back. She goes, that wasn't Smokey. That was some guy named Smitty. He's got a sports talk show. I pick him up and go, hello? And he goes, hey, man, I heard
He's too smitty.
I saw your bit on Party News Network. I would love to have you come and do my show. I go, bro, I don't really do it. It's just an idea in my head. And he's like, yeah, but I normally do boxing, but once a month I'm doing wrestling, and I'm gonna have Captain Lou Albano. Like, think about that for a second. The reason this all even started is because of Captain Lou Albano. If I'm not watching him on that Cindy Lauper video, I don't say rock and wrestling.
Right.
I don't come up with Diamond Dallas Page, the Diamond Exchange. All this is like planets lining up. Wow, really awesome here. Wow. And I'm talking about your work, not mine. And he goes, well, I'm going to have Captain Lou Albano on the show. I go, you're going to have Captain Lou on the show? Do I get to talk to him? Yeah. He's like, yeah, you're my resident expert. Yeah, of course I want you to talk to him. You're the guy. You're my expert. I'm like, I'm in. So I do it with him, and then I do it with Sergeant Slaughter. And that night, we're having a few cocktails, and he's like, dude, you have to do something with this Diamond Dallas Page thing. I'm like, Smitty, it's just in my head. And he's like, you got to get it out of your head. We got to do something with it. I got a friend of mine, used to be a boxing promoter. Now he's promoting for the AWA. I've got his address. Why don't you just make a tape and send it to him? I'm like, a tape of what? So he goes, you're creative. You'll figure it out. What I did is I found 3 guys who wanted to be wrestlers. One guy I called, that's really sore. That's good. One guy I called Big Bad John, and he was one of my diamond miners from my diamond fields that I have in Johannesburg, South Africa, don't you know, Yeah. So he's one of my miners. And then I have Rock Hard Rick, a buddy of mine who's like 6 foot and 250 and shredded, And then I had a guy named Ted E. Bear, and he was a midget, and he came out with the Diamond Dolls. And I have that tape edited. Wow, that feels really amazing, dude. Wow. I make that tape, I send it to the AWA, and that's when I got that call. Want me to come in for a tryout. And like I was telling you before, Paul Lee, back then, Paul Lee Dangerously. Wow. Oh. Wow. I've never had that kind of work done like that. Wow, like muscular, like if you look at where I was just at, it's all muscular, like,
right.
Wow. That is even, baby, look at my mobility.
Yeah. That's really good.
Like, wow. Like, he gets so deep. Wow. But
He's got a good poker face.
I'm used to deep work, but this is uniquely different. This is Beau Hightower work, because I've never had it like this deep in this area, and you can feel how sensitive that is right there. So bottom line is I got the call, and that's how I got the tryout. And the crazy part is, right, it's Diamond Dallas Page, the Diamond Exchange, Diamond Dolls, and BADD Bad. I end up going to Vegas. I only went with her once. She's still one of my best friends. Her name is Leanne, and all these pictures are out there because when I hit the scene, the tag team I ended up managing was called Bad Company.
Till the dad die.
Yes. And they would come out to the Bad Company song, and they became, when I got with them, BADD, Bad Company. Like,
there you go.
How crazy is how all that came together?
Manifesting, you know?
My documentary, Relentless, that's what it's really all about. It's manifesting dreams into reality. It just doesn't happen overnight.
It's always funny that the band Bad Company with the album Bad Company with the hit song Bad Company.
And that was a badass song.
It was. Absolutely.
Because it was the 80s. We got to steal the music back then.
Right. There wasn't all the sound scan, copyright.
Yeah, there wasn't any of that out there yet.
Off-topic questions, fan question. If they continued, who had the better wrestling chops? Karl Malone, Arquette, or Jay Leno?
Absolutely Malone.
Malone, because he's the athlete.
Yeah, he was, but
Leno had the charisma, right?
Yeah, and you had to take that into consideration. He knew how to be an entertainer.
Right.
But Karl,
okay,
like, he learned how to take bumps on top of everything.
Really?
The guy who had the most insight, though, as far as what to do and when to do it, was friggin' Rodman.
Okay.
Because Rodman didn't want to practice it or do it. Because
shocking.
He was just instinctively, though, he knew how to be a heel.
Right.
He grew up watching the shit.
Sure.
And, you were talking about Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone, and a lot of people didn't realize that Karl Malone was a humongous superstar in the NBA.
Sure.
Man, wow. I mean, like, I'm blown away, dude, by this neck work that you're doing to me.
We're getting there.
And I'm not saying this at all. I just would say nothing. I would just go, oh, yeah, oh, okay, that's good. But this is like, this is kind of life-changing because you're really getting really deep into whatever muscles you're hitting here. Pretty amazing.
Really getting the suboccipital triangle and where the fascia has overcompensated over the years from your lower neck stuff. Because that's what's limiting the range more so than downstream. About 90% of it comes from the top. So if your limitations can be freed up at the top,
wow,
you can make up a lot of difference with the middle stuff.
I'm literally blown. I mean, I've had over 300 people put their hands on me, and there's 4 people, maybe 5, where I would go, well, they were really good. But this is
worth your while.
No, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I've gotten off tables.
Sure.
Like, I'm not spending the next hour and a half here. I can tell in 20 minutes, this guy or this girl doesn't know what they're doing, and I'm not gonna. I'm paying them.
Right.
This to me is almost, and I mean this in a positive way, freakish, in the way that the intensity of the deepness of the fascia that you're pulling, it's I have to say this and you can beat me, it's fucking amazing. Like, I'm feeling the length in it and the mobility. It's really amazing.
Yeah, we're definitely finding some spots. Like I said, you're in great shape and your actual range is pretty good generally. But for somebody like me, when I see good motion, it's a lot easier to spot where there are limitations. So
that makes sense.
And it's always nice to have a patient that can feel their body, and that's something you've been working on obviously for 30 years, probably not just 20, but feeling what feels normal and right and wrong. Not too many people know their body like you do.
They blew my back out when I ruptured my L4, L5. I had just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal. So for me, like, there's no way that I can be hurt.
Right.
But then I went to 3 different spine specialists, and they're all saying the same thing, like, dude, you're done. And unless you want to end up being a crippled.
This is 98, 99?
90, going into 99, which would have made me 43. So I wasn't even a candidate for fusion, not that I would have done it anyway.
Right.
But he was like, dude, you can't even do that. And
towards me just a little bit with your body.
Okay.
There we go. A little more.
Kimberly, my first wife, and she's the whole reason that I ever did that. There's a DDP yoga on many different levels. She's the one who literally was like, you need to try yoga to heal your body. My exact quote was, that I wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. I'm like, I'm not doing it, Kim. And she was like, you'll do anything, but you won't try yoga? You know how ignorant you sound? And
what's that powder? Sure.
So she kind of like bullied me into it.
Uh-huh.
The first day I did it, it was using Brian Kess's tapes. Within 3 weeks, I started to feel a significant difference. I was like, wow, it's really working. Now I'm still doing rehab. What is that right there?
That's where your sternocleidomastoid attaches to your collarbone.
Whew. That's an issue.
So this one attaches here, so it controls rotation and lateral tilt on both sides.
But I can feel, I am really in tune with my body, obviously.
Right.
But this is another, like, whoa, okay. Like everything you've been doing to me, it's
so you can feel. I mean, there's like a little bit here, but when I get to like right around there,
yeah, like hello.
Yeah.
I'd rehab both shoulders and both knees by this time.
Sure.
So I know a lot about rehab, but instinctively, kind of like what you get too, not kind of, like you completely get it, but it's that breaking up of the scar tissue, and breaking up the fascia. So one night before I went to bed, I started mixing the yoga positions with the rehabilitation techniques.
Sure.
I'm like, wow, it really works. Then later on, I would start doing old school calisthenics. Push-ups, squats, crunches, done with a slow burn movement.
Cherry pickers.
Yeah, right. Just doing stuff that I knew, and I had to keep my strength and my size, because wrestling more than anything's cosmetic.
Right.
You want to look big. You don't have to be strong, but you want to have the size. Wow, you're working all that out, dude. That's all working out. Then I added in the isometrics and the isokinetics.
Right.
The flexing and engaging, the time under tension, and that's where I started feeling stronger. This one loosened up way faster
than
this side. I've never experienced any work like this, Beau. This is pretty. No wonder you got millions of people watching you.
Appreciate that. Obviously, you're a WWE Hall of Famer. Tell me what that was like. You and Goldberg were really the big homegrown WCW stars.
Right.
They kind of came over during the invasion. Both had your moments. I think most people think of you, obviously, as WCW guys.
Sure, absolutely.
Sting, too, obviously.
Dude, I literally grew up watching the WWF. Again, I'm 65.
Vince's dad's company.
Yeah, it was the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. And then Vince took it to WWF, World Wrestling Federation. And it really, just on a side note, it looked like he was totally getting screwed when he lost the WWF moniker and got WWE. Mm-hmm. Like, it was the best thing that ever happened to Vince to brand his company. NBC, Peacock just paid Vince $1 billion.
Ooh.
$1 billion, not to buy it, to rent it for 5 years. And we don't get any of that money. That all goes to Vince and the company. Oh my God, dude.
I'm getting there.
If you ever had a stiff neck, you can be seriously jealous right now.
Peeling back the layers.
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's like when I blew my back out. They said my wrestling career was over because of what today's known as DDPY. In less than 3 months, I was back in the ring. At 42, they said my career's over. At 43, I was the heavyweight champion of the world.
Right.
Which is like getting an Oscar in our business.
Sure.
Especially the first time. It's a really big deal. It looked like my career was over. It looked like the worst thing that ever happened to me. Today, it's the best thing that ever happened to me because DDP Yoga and everything that has to do with it has come out of that.
Right.
How many lives it's changed. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. You can't focus on the negativity you get hit with. You got to figure out, okay, what did I learn from that? What can I make happen from that?
So the last victory in the Monday Night Wars, DDP versus Goldberg, what was that environment like during those days when WCW and WWF were really going head to head? Obviously, Stone Cold and Rock were coming into their own. You and Goldberg and Jericho was coming up. Was there a lot of pressure at the time? How did you adapt to that level of superstardom and the amount of eyeballs that were on you? And did you feel like a lot of pressure being the company guy, being one of the guys really representing WCW to continue to win those Monday Night Wars?
Eric Bischoff, who was one of my best friends, and we were together as nobodies. Like nobody's bottom of the card. Like me and him were 4th-string color commentators and play-by-play guy.
I mean, you've done it all, right? Manager, color commentary, wrestling.
And did it the opposite way. Normally you wrestle and then you do all that other stuff.
Right, you were talking about these guys that are now managers.
Right.
Right.
Jake's the manager now.
Yeah.
That's the way you're supposed to do it.
Right, you did it in reverse.
I didn't become a wrestler until I was 35 and a half.
Sure.
It was only because they wouldn't let me manage anymore because of the hair and the clothes and the bling, the diamond dolls, the rap. And that's how it was explained to me by Magnum TA, because Dusty, not Dusty Rhodes, there is no Diamond Dolls page. And he didn't want to tell me I couldn't manage anymore. So he had Magnum tell me, basically I said, you're telling me I'm too over the top for professional wrestling? He said, it's not your fault. He goes, what we should do is put you in a pair of tights and boots and see if you could do this.
Yeah.
And that's what I made the decision. And that's why I made the decision. I had 7 months left in my contract. I can't tell you how much better my neck, like that, you've just added range there, bro. Like that's a lot. Here's a little more as well, but this side, it's significantly, like, now I can see back there.
Right.
It's blurry, but I can see it.
Which is where it was locked the most.
Wow,
Turn to the left again for me. So
sure.
I'm going to have you keep going that way.
Yeah.
And keep turning. Keep going. Keep turning. A little further. A little further.
I'm trying.
So pull with the muscles just a little bit. There we go. Good. Get back to center. Right.
Oh, man.
Go ahead and go left again there.
All I've ever seen is him doing this kind of stuff before. I'm like, what the hell is he going to be doing to me? But it really works. Like, wow. Oh, my God.
All right, look left again. See how far you can go that way?
Yep, it is a little farther.
Not bad.
Yeah, no, dude. Now I'm looking over that shoulder. Okay, that's wild.
Keep going up. Keep going. Keep going. A little
wow. Wow.
Keep going.
I haven't seen this part of the ceiling yet.
Keep going. A little more. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Back to center.
Wow. This is a trip.
Go. Okay. Let's go back over here. I'm going to have you go left again. And keep coming this way. Keep coming. Yeah, that's the right one. Keep going. Keep going. A little further. A little more. Good.
Holy shit.
That was the right direction.
Wow. Whew, wow.
There we go.
Good. You have guts to do that.
Go left again.
On my side. Oh, wow. But
Yeah, that was better.
I want you got to take a little clip of video from where I was.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Where are you getting to now?
yeah, I'm pulling this arm back
Wow.
now
Yeah.
so that I don't do that, you know? Wow.
All right, go left again.
A little harder, you think.
And
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
you're activating muscles from a range that you're not used to getting into also. So
No, not in 30 years.
Look straight down for me. So I'm going to show you a couple home exercises too here. And back to center and down. From the skull to C2 is 90% of the range of motion in the neck. So even though you're fused at the lower spot, I've got people that have had surgical spinal fusions at 2 levels that can look over their shoulder. They just can't lateral bend,
What's lateral bend?
bringing their ear to their shoulder.
Nah, I can't do that.
And
at all.
you'll probably
I'm
never be able to do that. You probably have never been able to do it your whole life.
Yeah, I never noticed it until now.
If those were congenitally blocked as a baby, like you wouldn't have been able to just bring your head over like that.
Like, that's amazing, 'cause I can actually see towards the back now.
Yeah. So again, good. There's the spot. Once I clear that one, it'll actually open up. Can you feel it now?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that one.
Feel that?
There you go. Oh, yeah. Breathing is so important. Oh, dude, there you go. What the hell happened there?
I ended up clearing that spot right back.
Oh, did you see
Yeah, you
that?
saw it open up.
I meant them. Like, what the f? Holy God.
There it goes.
Like, I didn't have any of that. Like, ooh, wow.
There it goes.
Ooh. Breathing's everything. Oh.
Yeah, you're not gonna last very long without breathing.
This is the loosest my neck has felt in forever. Whoa. Oh.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. Fucking really, really good.
Now, what I want you to do is start with your chin slightly down, and you're gonna stick your lips out a little bit, and then tip your head all the way up.
Wow.
And then back down.
Whew.
And back up. Good. And down.
You have to work with a lot of tough guys to be able to handle this shit. Because none of them want to sell shit,
Nope.
but you're killing them.
Exactly. Back up. That's it. One of the reasons we like wrestlers too is because they're not trying to hide behind the facade of being the tough guy. They're used to just letting it roll.
Oh,
Back
wow. Whew. Crazy how much difference pushing the lips out makes.
Right? And that's because the platysma ties into the corner of the mouth. So if you shook your lips out and even pull them to the right, you'll feel even feel that.
Ooh.
Back down.
God, yeah, I felt it. I would like to, if you've done this to me right before they shot me with those friggin' stem cells.
Actually, that's what we were talking about, like going down there and getting everybody opened up in full range first before we do that. So
Yeah.
maybe me and Eric will talk about,
I'll definitely talk to him about that.
Yeah, I've talked to him about it a little bit. Like, well, babe, why don't we just move down there?
The cost of living is insane.
Yeah, really low.
Oh, wow. Whew.
Right there. Look up to the ceiling again. There we go.
Wow.
And there it is. Feel the difference in that spot?
Big time.
Down.
Oh, wow.
See if you can look up to the ceiling now.
It's feeling good.
There it is. That's pretty darn good. Yeah, right there.
Let me see.
Pretty crazy.
it
You're
again?
watching it.
Wow.
So how do I keep this?
So what we'll do is we'll give you some basic exercises that'll mimic some of these.
Right.
I know you already understand the principles, so if
Yeah.
we can just give you ways to guide your way to these positions.
Right.
4 weeks worth, that's what you have to do.
But I'll really do it.
I know you will. That's why I
really
said
do it.
we'll give you the home exercises for it. You'll be able to recreate most of these yourself.
And that's what most people don't get. Like, you've got to be disciplined.
You got to do the work.
You don't do the work, you ain't gonna have it or keep it.
And anything. You don't brush your teeth fall out. You don't keep your muscles strong, you're going to wither apart and get sarcopenia, and you don't keep your mind sharp. If you're not reading, if you're not challenging yourself, you lose that too.
Sure. That's why I'm doing all that shit in the chamber.
Yep. A little further. A little further.
Wow.
Right there. Keep going. There it is. Good. All right, go up one more time. Ah. Now it's not the neck. Now it's here that's limiting you. I don't know if you can feel it.
No, I can.
Yeah, the neck limitation on the up isn't there.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Go all the way left for me. Yeah, look over the left shoulder again.
Yeah, I'm feeling over there now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It should feel like there's a lot less tension just
Dude,
under
it
here.
feels like a different neck.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. I even feel like I actually can put it down a little bit lower. Not too low to begin with. But,
Yeah.
but I do feel more movement.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I was going like right about there, and that was pretty good for me. But there, and again, I could feel all that.
Now you feel the stretch in the front a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not physically capable of stretching in that position.
Right.
So like even if you have decent sized biceps, that's not a blockage in stretching. So if I move my bicep out of the way, I can get it there. That's literally blocking between the bones, right? I can't outstretch that. If I do, I'm just prying my elbow open because I've got a blockage here. So that's what we call muscle bound, right? So if you're a 400-pound guy and you're trying to do this, you're not going to get full abduction because your shoulder and your deltoid are running into each other. So there are some people that can't get the full range of motion. And if they try to create it, like these big guys I'm talking about, like a bodybuilder,
Right.
they're trying to sit their heel on their butt, they're actually going to stretch out the front of their knee, not necessarily in a good way. All right, go like that with both hands for me. Push this one out to the side. Pain?
Nope.
Okay, push that one out.
Nope.
Feel a difference in strength though?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, this is way weaker.
Yeah.
And it goes into there.
Yeah.
Like that really is a problem.
Yeah. Well, there's actually two functional parts to this also along with the structural. This humerus is forward and that bicep tendon isn't all the way in the groove.
Yeah, I did that carrying a big ass TV years ago, and now it lit up when I went off that wall. Yeah, I do.
So when I'm over here, I don't feel that.
Right.
It's that one. So go like that for me. This probably contributes to your neck a little.
Yeah, super weak.
Do this, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So you do have fibrosis in it too. So
What does that mean?
The tissue has gotten thicker in a non-functional way. It's like a callus on your foot, but on the bicep tendon.
Right.
So once it doesn't require it, it'll get thinner. So if we can get the stress off of it, it should thin out a little
Really?
bit. Yeah.
That would be great.
Well, tissue adapts, right? Davis's law. Tissues get thicker or thinner depending on the stress load. Then we have Wolff's law, which is bone. That's where bone spurs are created from extra stress. And then osteoporosis is from not enough stress.
Right.
What is the peak of your career? Do you feel like there is one? Obviously, getting the WCW heavyweight belt, WWE Hall of Fame, even getting your first main event. Was it that Monday night that
It was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Was I came up with this idea for me to drop the NWO. They've been killing everybody for a year and a half. With Scott, his wife was pregnant. He needed a job. I created Scott Hole's Razor Ramon look. It was a diamond stud.
Right. The
Changed
diamond
his hair,
stud.
the whole deal.
That's right.
So me and him had history.
Right.
And Kev was my tag team partner. And both of these guys now coming back to WCW are the kings of the world. Like they've changed the face of wrestling.
Yeah.
They're the two hottest people in professional wrestling.
Right.
And the big draw out to bring who's the third guy. Well, of course, the only third guy that it could have been to have the impact was Hulk.
Sure.
But then there's the fourth, fifth, sixth, and my idea was because they were going through people like asking them to be in. Some people said no, they beat them down,
Right.
or they said yes and they brought them in, or they beat them down.
Right.
Well, I can really feel just the difference what you're doing right there with that because I've been doing this exercise for. I think it was my rotator cuff, but you're on my bicep thing, right?
Right.
So bottom line is I tell Kevin Nash this idea about you guys come to me and you want me to join. And I'm like, oh, now? Like number 7? Like what happened to 3 or 4 or 5,
Right.
And like, no, not happening and walk off. Now, if I did that in real life, you guy goes, oh, you go, Dally, he'll get over it. That's what they would do.
Right.
So that's how we played it like it was real.
Sure.
And then they came up to me again and I said no again. And then it goes from there. They come out, they put the shirt on me, I accept it, and then I drop Scott with the diamond cutter and backdrop him over the top. Well, in the meantime, that's supposed to take like 3 weeks. The booking committee did not believe in me that I was a top guy.
Sure.
So they can't let me knock 2 of the top guys in the business out.
Right.
Because they don't believe in me. They don't think I can carry it. So it gets put on TV and gets taken off. And let me tell you how it happened. Kevin tells me, I love it. Go tell Bischoff. I'm like, no, I got to tell Scott. He goes, Scott wants to help you, bro. Just go tell Bischoff. He'll love it. I go, no, I got to ask Scott. I go and ask Scott. He's like, oh, I love it. He goes, tell Bischoff. I go, I ain't telling him. Stop. Let the big man tell him. Because me and Bischoff are super tight.
Sure.
He ain't going to help his buddy like that.
Right,
He's not going
right,
to do the nepotism thing.
Right.
So Kevin, Scott, and me, what was great about back then, this is really feeling better. And when you started touching this, I'm like, oh God, this is going to hurt. And this is, Bischoff in the beginning was a little, like he got the idea, but like he's pushing me in this scenario over them. So he wasn't balking, but he wasn't really in it. And Scott Hall said to him, he goes, well, everybody knows you guys are boys, man. If being your friend isn't like a positive thing, I don't know. Do we, if we know about that? He was like, well, no, I'm not saying that. And so Scotty just kind of pushed it, right? So now it's on. It's on TV. Eric's got it up there. The booking committee's got to do it, right? No, they pull it off TV. Piper's coming in, goes on TV, comes off TV, goes on TV, comes off TV. It takes 8 to 10 weeks. I can't remember exactly how long it took, but it took like double the amount of time. Looks like it's never going to happen.
Sure.
That would really suck, but it did happen, and it took really long to happen. Mm-hmm. So it created this storyline that actually meant something.
Right.
So by them taking it off the air, and for so long, and they had to keep following the storyline. Sure. So it drug it out. And then when, once I dropped them, that's when Randy Savage stepped up and was like, I want to work with him.
Right.
And then it was a test. Like, he didn't say, I'm going to work with him, I'm going to put him over.
Sure.
Because Randy and Hulk, they control their own destiny.
Right.
Bottom line is, we shot this angle. It exploded. It made me red hot, and we led everything up to the pay-per-view. And every night, NWO is just killing me.
Right.
Every night, we're the main event. I get left flying, or I escape with a couple diamond cutters, go through the crowd.
Right.
But I never touch Randy.
Right.
Until one night, we were in Florence, South Carolina, right before the pay-per-view. He walks in, Arn Anderson, who's the agent, and he says, so Randy, what do you want to do tonight? And Randy's tying up his boots, just me and him in the dressing room. Pulls it up, ties it up. He goes, I think I want to take the diamond cutter. And Arn was like, Dallas, hope you know what this could do for your career.
Right.
I'm like, yeah. But I really didn't, because I didn't realize, like, I knew it was huge, especially if he was going to do it at the pay-per-view, but I didn't realize how huge. Like, it changed my life in a way where all of a sudden people don't look at you the same.
Right.
They look at you like this. Yeah. I'm still this guy.
Sure.
But all of a sudden, by the fans and the promos that they allowed me to do, that's why I got the WCW Wrestler of the Year that year. It was because the fans voted on that. It changed my life forever.
That's awesome.
I feel like I'm 41, 42.
You move like it, that's for sure.
Dude, this definitely... I not as sensitive.
Go back to here again. Push out.
Like, I can feel already stronger there on that.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing, dude.
Go palm up again here.
That's fucking, I want to give you a five.
Yeah. Hold that again.
Yeah.
Almost. And then, guys, make sure he has a YouTube channel too, so I'm going to drop in the link below. I'm also going to put his website, so if you guys want to check out DDP Yoga, make sure to jump over there as well. You have a Facebook page too?
Yeah, our Facebook, and I'll leave it on this. Like, anybody who does my program, they get 7 days for free on the app to try it. Don't listen to a word, or even what Doc says about the program. On Facebook, there is DDP Yoga, one word. And it's a members only. So it's all the people who do the workout. There's 65,000 people, active people who really like changing their lives. Like, it's really unbelievable. And their stories, like, you can't get people to chant your name in professional wrestling, like not the masses, like I was fortunate enough to do, or The Rock, or Hulk, or Hall, or Stone Cold, or whoever, Goldberg. It's to get people to really chant your name, they got to care.
Right.
On the internet, they got to write. They really care about it. They write about it. When you see some of the stories up there, it's powerful. You go to ddpy.com.
Check it out. Go. Well, finish watching this video and then go.
Bang.
All right, go here again.
Dude, that
Push out again. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, wow.
Full lockout.
So what actually were you doing there, though?
Just now?
Yeah.
Moving your humerus back because it's drifting forward. So then you don't have the proper levers to activate your external rotators. So first we had to get the bicep back in the groove, and then we had to move the humerus back. So go palm up again there. So now you can activate the muscles that you have.
That's crazy. What are you actually doing now?
I'm physically moving the humerus back relative to the scapula. It's drifted forward a little bit, maybe from the initial tears, and never was reset. So it's not dislocated, but it's also not flush in the joint.
Wow. Well, it looks like that hurts. It doesn't. It feels good.
Our treatment's the opposite. The stuff that doesn't look like it hurts, like my little thumb massage stuff,
that hurts like
is
hell.
killer. And then the stuff that's like that stuff, it's like, oh no, no big deal. Go again, push out.
Like that's all. That's ridiculously different.
Full lockout, yeah.
So what can I do?
I'm gonna show you a couple different things for sure. Go palm out again here, and then, yeah, there we go.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, full lockout. Now if you stretch back, you should feel like you get a better pec stretch than normal.
Yeah.
You can feel it like in the muscle fibers.
I'm just happy to be able to do this because I use this very limited. It's been so weak.
Right, and it's not like nerve, like I said, or else you wouldn't be able to resist me just right now. Right, there's a mechanical blockage of the muscle. So now, if I loosen up the pec a little bit,
That hurts.
that hurts like a son of a gun.
I'm not going to sell that shit.
He said,
No matter how much pain.
he's like, I'm not going to give you that. Yeah, right? And there.
Oh, you got me there. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's the madness.
That just turned on a bunch of shit, though.
All right, now reach back here. And so now you can see the tissue line now drops to there.
Ah, bastard. Bastard. Oh, but it's so cool after it goes. Because then it gets strong.
Well, you could feel your body, so you could feel when things release.
Yeah.
And I can feel it when it releases, but a lot of other people can't necessarily, so they're like surprised. There it goes.
Whew, wow. You're not leaving anywhere, Doc.
You're moving to Atlanta.
Wow.
Reach back again, man. All right.
I just adjusted myself.
Yep. Well, you can create the range of motion now, right? There we go.
But this feels so much stronger.
Yeah, push out. Yeah, full lockout. And even just squeezing your bicep now, it should feel like you get a little better squeeze.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
That just made it so much stronger, man.
So then now, obviously with the strength here, when you do your band work, you do your strengthening, you're actually activating the right muscles instead of fighting between muscles that don't want to work.
Right.
So now this is actually helpful, right? It's effective.
Right.
But if you're not using the right ones, it's 10, 20% effective. It's better than nothing, but you're not getting the rehab that you need out of it. And that's like our whole thing. It's like you have to put somebody in a position to where the work that they do is actually effective. I'm gonna go a little harder. Now lean your upper body forward. He's great. He knows if I tell him to change an angle, he goes right to it. Everybody else is like, it was like me doing yoga, like other side, Beau. Switch feet.
Wow.
Keep going.
Holy
Keep going.
dude, you see what's out of my arm?
Keep going. A little further.
Whoa.
A little more. Perfect.
What the Wow.
There we go.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But I was at my limit.
Yeah, I think we got it back all the way in the socket.
Wow, man.
Otherwise, you wouldn't get that kind of rotation. Go here again. Now push up. Ah.
Dude, I couldn't even do.
Couldn't activate it all earlier.
Yeah.
So now if you engage that deltoid too, it should feel like you can get
Yeah. Well, I can tell more.
the bicep.
My bicep hasn't been this engaged
Right.
since you started doing it, like a while ago.
Right.
Like this one's still, this is the one I was showing.
Right. It's like, yeah.
But this one now is back.
Right.
I can engage.
Right.
Wow.
So now if you're strengthening it, again, the muscle fibers when I respond, because it's not turning off because of mechanical malposition and then pain. Wow. Both those things will turn that muscle off. More time.
Yeah, it's more. I could see there, but now I can actually get a left eye on that one
Right.
poster back there.
I'm actually going to traction this out. And like I said, again, we didn't do anything to the cartilage or the rotator or any of that.
Blown away.
Which means they're actually pretty functional.
Right.
That's stretching there. There it was. Got a little shift. So now. Now it's back in all the way.
Wow. So did you just put it back in socket like?
Yeah, it wasn't all the way flush. So instead of being here, it was kind of like that.
Wild. Like this, I already feel different in that shoulder big time. Like I can do this now. It's even.
And I'm just gonna hook right under here.
Oh, goody.
That one.
I love this. I love this. I love this.
As the kids would say, bang. See those shoes? She knows what looks good.
Good. Oh, God. Where are you at right now with your hand?
Subscapularis.
Whew.
So I'm up and under and pulling it back into the scapula. So see if I let go of that left hand, see how I don't have the pressure anymore?
Yep.
So I've got to combine the two.
I can feel each time I do it to ease off it, though. And every time it just takes another onion layer off.
So that part's gone.
Yeah.
Now there's a little bit there.
Wow.
And it takes about, it's funny, I had a mentor that used to tell me, can you feel it yet? Wow. And I was like, what do you mean, can you feel it? If the patient hurts, then that's the spot.
Yeah.
And about 5 years into doing this, all of a sudden it clicked, my subconscious brain could feel the soft tissue. I came back and apologized. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? You think you know more than you do early on.
Right.
Like, I just graduated, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Because you got to put in the hours and the time. And
I can't tell you how many times I would call Scott Hall and go, dude.
You're right.
You were right. I've been at least 5 or 6 times over my career.
That's what we call wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And you can't do it without putting in the time.
Yeah. Yeah, so much ridiculously better.
Push pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hold.
I'm like sort of shocked.
Yeah, no problem there at all.
You know, I'm like sort of shocked when you're going to do that. I'm expecting it to do this.
To give out on you, right?
Yeah.
And squeeze that tight now? Ah.
Oh, I can feel that now. Like,
yeah.
because he got to a point where I just got fitted for a suit. He's like, you left-handed? I'm like, nah, my right arm's just f***ed. He's like, yeah, you're an inch, like 3/4 of an inch smaller. You know, just over that time from not being able to do it the way I want to do it.
Feel like you can squeeze it out?
No, I can feel it in my bicep. You know, it feels like this one now. Cool. Wow. I'm really blown away more than anything that I have now, this strength in this arm, because just pushing it back, whatever you did, it feels really good. And I'm so in tune with my body that, wow. You get a chance to see the doc, I'm recommending him 1,000%. Don't be afraid of all the instruments. They work. Awesome. Like, dude, I'm coming to see you every couple of months now. Because that's, when I find someone who's like magic to me, definitely I'll find my way to you, dude. My buddy, Paul Walterhauser, he calls this the Hall of Page.
Okay.
This is my favorite part of the wall. So many iconic people. Austin, Clint, Jake, Hulk doing the diamond cutter sign, Fluffy, Kiss. This is a picture that a buddy of mine named Brian, one of my instructors, painted for me. And this picture right here is back when Stone Cold is stunning Steve Austin, and it's before I had my second tattoos redone. This is actually Beau Jackson, who saw me on the field of Auburn game, and I just hit Albie the Tiger with a diamond cutter. Bruce Springsteen, Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, Roddy Piper. So me and Carl were...
Dude, you better realize that's all you guys are. There you are next to a power forward in the NBA.
Yeah, he's 6'9", I'm 6'4". Hall of Fame belt. You can see they put the little circles in there and stuff, which is pretty cool.
That's really cool.
This is the world title belt. The reason why I keep this one here, there's a duplicate in the other room, because I take this to all the signings.
Nobody's ever walked off with it, huh?
Yes, a kid started like showing it at one of the high schools I went to. Like, yo, get over here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When Magnum was saying, I'm too over the top for professional wrestling, that was this guy. And what you got to really appreciate about this picture with the diamond dolls.
That's a life well lived right there, man.
Yeah. that's living diamond
people have lived
that. That was before it really happened. It was just an idea back then. Dusty, this is me and Dusty 33 years ago. He brought me to a Willie Nelson concert, and he got up and played with Willie. And that's him singing with Willie up there. He went up for one song, he stayed for 5. When Rick gave me a ride back home in his limousine and his Learjet. This is the picture I was telling you about, Ted DiBiase doing upside down. That hair, this time, I'm not in wrestling yet. Luke the Bushwhacker, me, him, and Ted, I'm not in professional wrestling.
You look like more of the rest of them than me, right?
Here's Muhammad Ali doing the diamond cutter side. Oh,
that's legendary.
Yeah, legendary, man. That was this same day. He says, lock up, Diamond. And Muhammad Ali.
That's awesome.
Is that unbelievable?
That's awesome. That's a cool.
Well, next time I saw him, he took this shot.
Nice.
That's legendary
Well,
shit.
obviously he had an appreciation for wrestling because that was a part of his gimmick too, right?
It was Gorgeous
George. That's right.
That he had heard him cutting a promo on a radio.
On the radio.
And he just got it.
Yeah.
Because he was so pretty.
And
he was so good.
And no matter what you're doing, if you take your cues from wrestling, you can't be in the middle. You either got to be a face or a heel. You can turn sometimes. So if you want people to remember you, you got to stand out.
Yeah, you got to stand out. You got to be different then. And this is all the champions from WCW. Unique pieces. You won't find this anywhere. This is cards, that they just printed off. Me and Goldberg and Mach and Sting and Hulk and all of these are just like, they're just plain.
Oh, these are cool.
These are like gum cards. Vance would go crazy for that. My buddy Brian did this one too. And he put Dusty up in the clouds. Mentoring Cody since he's not 12.
Yeah. That's awesome.
One of the jackets and the vests and all of the different action figures and toys. Pretty wild.
Nice. That's pretty epic. Historically, you made it if you were on a video game.
This is one of my favorite pictures of me and Kurt Hennig. Road Wild, and that just the clouds in the background outside, and get ready to tee them up. This was a pair.
Okay.
And these things, when they got together, would literally talk to each other.
Really?
Yeah, like cut promos on each other.
That's pretty high tech.
Yeah, it was. Rudy.
The real Rudy or the actor?
Real Rudy.
The real Rudy, okay.
The real Rudy, man. Man, he's been here. He's such an inspiration.
Those are all the originals?
The actual US is, the tag is. Someone gave me that one.
Okay.
So I just put it up there.
Yeah.